Bob Ferguson has released his first political ad of the campaign cycle. Shock of the century. It's deeply dishonest. I was watching it and I counted at least 7 I would say instances of gaslighting, 1 outright lie. First, before I break it down, let's play the ad in full.
I grew up in a big family. My mom was a public school special education teacher, and my dad worked at Boeing. They were always around for us. It's harder than ever for families to do the same. Skyrocketing costs and rising crime are making times really tough. I'm running for governor so families have an easier time making ends meet, and our loved ones, like Jack and Katie, have a safe and secure future. I'll work to lower costs, invest in technical education and apprenticeships, and I'll hire more police officers so we combat crime, improve public safety, and get those in crisis the care they need. It won't be easy, but I've never been satisfied with the status quo. I refuse contributions from big corporations, so my focus will be getting things done for Washington, not powerful interests. Together, we'll make our state safer and more affordable so we can all spend more time with our families and build a stronger future for everyone.
Bob Ferguson for governor.
Oh my God. First, let me give him a compliment, okay? There was nothing in there about Orange Man bad, Dave Reichert, and abortion. So, okay, I'll give you that. Your first TV ad of the campaign, I really expected it to have one or both of those things. Wow. I said this on Twitter the second it came out and I saw it. I said, is there any political candidate in the entire country rewriting their track record as much as Bob Ferguson is right now? It's insane to see. It's also deeply heartbreaking to know that there are some Washington voters who are going to fall for it. So let's do this. Let's break it down a little bit. Let's start with the outright lie. And there is at least one of them, although some are very, very dangerously bordering on lies. He lied about his donations again. Here it is.
I refuse contributions from big corporations, so my focus will be getting things done for Washington, not powerful interests.
Yeah, he might be refusing donations from big corporations right now, but as we have pointed out on the show before, as Community Notes pointed out when he said this on X a couple weeks ago, Bob has long taken donations from major political corporations like AT&T, Microsoft, Walmart, Expedia, McDonald's, Weyerhaeuser, Boeing, BNSF, AOL, Google, Anheuser-Busch, Pfizer, Yahoo, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If Bob wants to come out and say, hey, I'm a reformed big money donor taker, whatever it is, but he isn't doing that. He's acting as if, oh, I'm so holier than thou. I'll never take money from big corporations. I'm only beholden to you. Yeah, that's just a lie. So that is a flat out lie. Unfortunately, there's no one to regulate. There are no regulations about political candidates putting lies in campaign ads. Hell, they can put lies in the voter guide if they want to. No one fact checks it. And look, I don't know that what entity would fact check it? Who would be responsible for that? The government? I wouldn't trust the government to accurately fact check anything Bob Ferguson said either. So here we are. So you have to rely on the media to fact check it for you. All right, let's get to some just deeply dishonest, revisionist aspects of this ad. Like Bob saying that he wants to lower costs for families because things are really tough right now.
I'm running for governor so families have an easier time making ends meet. I'll work to lower costs.
Yeah, no, you won't. I have not in your 12 years as Attorney General heard you, or in any Democratic capacity, heard you speak out about any of the many, 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 many new taxes passed under Democratic control. You're an independently elected official. You could have at any time spoken out about any of that as you saw fit. You decided not to. And now, as you're running for governor, as you're saying you want to lower costs for Washington families, you are on the record opposing 3 initiatives that would do what? That would lower costs for Washington families. He is opposed to Initiative 2117, which would stop the hidden gas tax, which is absolutely hurting Washington families at the gas pump. He is opposed to Initiative 2124, which would allow working class families to opt out of paying into the state's Long-Term Care Act if they don't want to use it, which is just common sense. And he's also opposed to Initiative 2109, which would repeal the capital gains tax. And you might say, well, that's not really working class families. Democrats are going, if this survives, Democrats are going to lower the threshold for capital gains. Mark my word, they will lower the threshold for capital gains. It'll start to apply to the sale of everyone's primary home. So if you're banking on the money and the equity you have in your home to one day help with your retirement, well, Bob Ferguson and Democrats, mark my word, they are going to include that in the tax on capital gains. Not to mention that a tax on capital gains dissuades entrepreneurship. It dissuades people from starting businesses, which ultimately trickles down and hurts working class people. So he can't say, I'm for helping working class people and lowering costs, while also saying that he is going to vote against these three initiatives and does not support them. All right, here's the real doozy, and this is the one that angers me beyond just being laughable. Bob, all of a sudden being the public safety candidate.
I'll hire more police officers so we combat crime, improve public safety, and get those in crisis the care they need.
Yeah, okay, first of all, wow, you are the Attorney General who is 0 for 4 on prosecuting police officers, prosecuting them for political purposes, because back in 2020 and 2021, when everybody was like criminal justice reform and you were trying to raise your political star to get ready for a campaign for governor, you decided that it might be nice to have a few notches on your belt to put police officers in prison. That didn't work out too well for you, but I could guarantee you, we have the lowest number of police officers per capita of any state in the nation right now, under a governor who is the same politically as Bob Ferguson. Bob Ferguson believes what other Democratic leaders who bought into the police defunding or didn't say anything about police defunding believe. He believes he can simply throw money at the problem. Oh, we'll raise pay for officers. We'll give them lateral bonuses, retention bonuses, signing bonuses. We'll make money available from the state to give to local agencies. None of it matters if they don't want to work for you. Newsflash, Bob Ferguson, they don't want to work for you. They don't want to work for a man who would try to throw police officers in prison for political expediency. All of that aside, Bob Ferguson now wants to act like he is a public safety candidate. Why is he doing that? Because his primary opponent, Dave Reichert, is a longtime sheriff. His public safety record is unquestioned. And also, people are really unhappy with the state of things right now on the public safety front. So all of a sudden, after 12 years of not giving a damn about public safety, he needs to act like he's going to sweep in and do all of these things to improve public safety? Give me a break. This is the guy who never spoke out about the criminal rioting that we saw, widespread criminal rioting for a full year in 2020. Never said anything about Chaz Chop, even as the state's chief law enforcer. Never said anything about the widespread looting and retail theft until he decided to mount a campaign for governor. And all of a sudden, he's got a retail theft task force. He never said anything about the rollback in police pursuits in 2021 when his Democratic colleagues in Olympia did that. And then all of a sudden, he's running for office and he says, yeah, I never supported that. Wow, isn't that convenient? He's not the public safety candidate. He's never been a public safety person. He's saying that because he believes it's what you want to hear. And then finally, just Bob Ferguson talking about the status quo.
It won't be easy, but I've never been satisfied with the status quo.
You are the status quo. You are the status quo. You've been the Attorney General for 12 years. When you look at your endorsements, his list of endorsements, it is a who's who of the status quo. It includes the 2 senators from Washington State, who combined have been in office for more than 40 years. It includes Dow Constantine, who's running up on 16 years as the King County executive, who under his leadership has been disastrous for public safety, has raised taxes exponentially, has been disastrous on the homeless front and the substance abuse front. So you say you're going to fix all those things, yet your key endorsements are from people who contributed to all those things. Not to mention, you've been endorsed by the status quo governor, the man who has run the state into the ground for 12 years. He's also endorsed, by the way, by the governor before the sitting governor, Christine Gregoire. So he's endorsed by the status quo political class in Washington State for the last 20 years plus. So if you're not the status quo, 3-term AG, if you're not the status quo, and you don't want to be the status quo, and you want to break the status quo, why are you being endorsed by the status quo. Makes no sense, does it? And that's just his first political ad of the cycle. Wow, we have a long way to go until November.